Mantras of our Divine Mother. A prayer given by our Divine Mother on 2nd April 1935. O my sweet Master, grant to all the sovereign benefit of Thy illumination. With always our love and blessing, says our Divine Mother. Sri Aurobindo's Savitri. Book 3, the Book of the Divine Mother. Canto 3, The House of the Spirit and the New Creation. Page 363. As one who sets his sail towards mystery's shores, driven through huge oceans by the breath of God, the fathomless below, the unknown around, his soul abandoned the blind star field, space. Afar from all that makes the measured world, plunging to hidden eternities, it withdrew back from mind's foaming surface to the vast, voiceless within us in omniscient sleep, above the imperfect reach of word and thought, beyond the sight, the last support of form, lost in deep tracks of superconscient light, or voyaging in blank, featureless nothingness, soul in the trackless, incommensurable, or past not self and selflessness, transgressing the dream shores of conscious mind, he reached at last his sempiternal base. On sorrowless heights, no winging cry disturbs, pure and untouched above the mortal plane, is spread the spirit's hushed, immobile air. There no beginning is, and there no end. There is the stable force of all that moves. There the aeonic laborer is at rest. There turns no keyed creation in the void, no giant mechanism watched by a soul. There creaks no fate-turned huge machinery, the marriage of evil with good within one breast, the clash of strife in the very clasp of love, the dangerous pain of life's experiment in the values of inconsequence and chance, the peril of mind's gamble, throwing our lives as stake in a wager of indifferent gods, and the shirting lights and shadows of the idea falling upon the surface consciousness, and in the dream of a mute witness soul, creating the error of a half-seen world, where knowledge is a seeking ignorance, life steps a stumbling series without suit, its aspect of fortuitous design, its equal measure of true and false, in that immobile and immutable realm, find no access, no cause, no right to live. There only reigns the Spirit's motionless power, poised in itself through still eternity, and its omniscient and omnipotent peace. Words of our Lord Sri Aurobindo, taken from the collective works of our Lord Sri Aurobindo SABCL, book The Mother with Letters. Topic: External Organization and Inner Harmony, page 262. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, mistakes come from people bringing the ego. Mistakes come from people bringing their ego, their personal feelings, likes and dislikes, their sense of prestige or their convenience, pride, sense of possession, etc. into the world. The right way is to feel that the work is the mother's, not only yours. The right way is to feel that the work is the Divine Mother's and not only yours, but the work of others, and to carry it out in such a spirit that there shall be a general harmony. Harmony cannot be brought about by external organization only. Though a more and more perfect external organization is necessary, inner harmony there must be, or else there will always be clash and disorder. Question: you have written, harmony cannot be brought about by external organization only. Inner harmony there must be, or else there will always be clash and disorder. What is this inner harmony? For this, our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, union with the Divine Mother, union in the Mother. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, the Mother's victory is essentially a victory of each sadhak over himself. The Mother's victory is essentially a victory of each sadhak over himself. It can only be then that any external form of work can come to a harmonious perfection. The remedy for these things, says our Lord, is to think more and more of the Divine Mother and less of the relations of others with yourself apart from the Divine Mother. As X is trying, so you should try to meet others in the Mother, in your consciousness of unity with the Mother, and not in a separate personal relation. Then these difficulties disappear and harmony can be established. For then it is not necessary to try and please others, but both or all meet in their love for the Mother and they work for her, says our Lord Sri Aurobindo. Next subtopic, the most needed thing. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, the one thing that is most needed for this sadhana is peace, calm, especially in the vital, a peace which depends not on circumstances or surroundings, but on the inner contact with a higher consciousness, which is the consciousness of the Divine, of the Mother.
J'ai touché un ressort tout-puissant qui m'a projeté d'un seul coup dans une immensité sans forme et sans limite, où vibre l'essence d'un monde nouveau. At the very bottom of the unconscious, most hard and rigid and narrow and stifling, I struck upon an almighty spring that cast me up forthwith into formless, limitless vast, vibrating with the seeds of a new world.
Sri Aurobindo continues to say, those who have not that or do not aspire to get it can come here and live in the ashram for 10 or 20 or 30 years and yet be restless and full of struggle as ever. Those who open their mind and vital to the Divine Mother's strength and peace get it even in the hardest and most unpleasant work and the worst circumstances. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, the Divine Mother has not laid stress on human fellowship of the ordinary kind between the inmates, though good feeling, consideration, and courtesy should always be there, because that is not the aim. It is a unity in a new consciousness that is the aim. And the first thing is for each to do his sadhana to arrive at that new consciousness and realize oneness there. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo continues to say, the whole principle of this integral yoga is to give oneself entirely to the divine alone, and to nobody and nothing else, and to bring down into ourselves by union with the Divine Mother power all the transcendent light, force, whiteness, peace, purity, truth, consciousness, and the ananda of the supramental divine. In this integral yoga, therefore, there can be no place for vital relations or interchanges with others. Any such relation or interchange immediately ties down the soul to the lower consciousness and its lower nature, prevents the true and full union with the divine, and hampers both the ascent to the supramental truth consciousness and the descent of the supramental Ishvara Shakti. The mother, says our Lord, is pressing for the sex trouble to go out of the sadhaks, as it is a great obstacle, so it must go. Learn to live within. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, you have to learn to live in yourself with the mother, in contact with her consciousness, and meet others only with your exterior surface. Let me repeat. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, you have to learn to live in yourself with the Divine Mother, in contact with her consciousness, and meet others only with your exterior surface. If it is like that, it is probably because you are living outside, allowing yourself to be disturbed by outward contacts. One cannot find happiness of a lasting character unless one lives within. Work, action must be offered to the Divine Mother, done for her sake only, without any thought for yourself, your own ideas, preferences, feelings, likes, dislikes. If one's eyes are fixed on these later things, then at every step one gets some friction either in the mind or vital, or if these are comparatively quiet on the body and the nerves. Peace and joy can only become stable if one lives within the Mother. That is all right, but what I wrote was not put down as a rule for you alone. It is one which everyone ought to follow. For it is only when work and action are done in that way, without insistence on one's personal ideas, personal feelings, but only for the divine sake, without thought of self, that work fully becomes a sadhana, and the internal and external nature can arrive at a harmony. It makes it possible for the inner being to take up and enlighten the outer action and grow conscious of the Divine Mother's force behind it, guiding it in its works. To fix times is not possible or desirable. You must yourself organize your day in such a manner as to make the best use of it and let the Divine Mother know how you do it. The most important thing is to be turned inwardly towards the Mother and to her alone. To avoid too many outward contacts is necessary only to help in this, but it is not necessary or desirable to avoid all contacts with people. What is necessary is to meet these contacts with the right mind and consciousness, not throwing yourself out, treating them as things of the surface, not getting attached to them or absorbed by them in any way. Yes, of course, it was an inner, concentrated condition and in which you could come in contact with the Divine Mother. The flowers indicate always an opening, usually a psychic opening in some part of the consciousness. The Divine Mother does not approve at all the idea of a complete retirement. It does not bring the control, only an illusion of a control because the untoward causes are removed for a time. It is a control established while in contact with the outward things that is alone genuine. You must establish that from within by a fixed resolution and practice. Too much mixing and too much talk should be avoided, but a complete retirement is not the thing. It has not had the required result with anyone so far. Differences in the Mother's way of dealing with sadhaks. For this our Lord says, "You have spoken of your singing. You know well that we approve it, and I constantly stressed its necessity for you as well as that of your poetry." But the Divine Mother absolutely forbids ace singing, so you see that to music for some she is indifferent, or she even discourages it, for she approves some. For sometimes she encourages the concerts, afterwards she stopped them. You drew from the prohibition to A and the stopping the concerts the conclusion that the Mother does not like music, or considered music bad for sadhana, and all sorts of strange mental reasons. Mother prohibited because While music was good for you, it was a spiritual poison to A the moment he began to think of it and of the audience and the vulgarity and unspirituality in his nature that rose to the surface. You can see what he is doing with it now. So again, with concerts, though in a different way, she stopped them because she had seen that wrong forces were coming into the atmosphere which had nothing to do with music in itself. Her motives were not mental. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, that being established that things depend on the spirit, the nature of the person, it needs the conditions and the circumstances. So sadhana is done by the Divine Mother according to the truth and necessity of each nature and each plane of nature. It is not one fixed process. Concern yourself with your own progress and follow the lead the Mother gives you. Leave others to do the same. The Mother is there to guide and help them according to their need and their nature. It does not in the least matter if the way she follows with him seems different or opposite of that which she takes you. That is the right one for him, as this is the right one for you. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says the Mother speaks or writes more pointedly and sharply to those whom she wishes to push rapidly on the way because they are capable of it, and they do not resent or suffer, but are of glad of pressure and painlessness because they know by experience that it helps them to see their obstacles and change. If you wish to progress rapidly, you must get rid of this vital reaction of abhimana, suffering, wounded feeling, seeking for argument or self-justification, outcry against the touch that is intended to liberate. For so long as you have these, it is difficult for us to deal openly and firmly with the obstacles created by the vital nature. The Divine Mother warns you against the undesirability of talking too much, loose chat and gossip. Social self-dispersion was entirely meant and stands when you indulge in these things, you throw yourself out into a very small and ignorant consciousness in which your vital defects get their free play, and this is likely to bring you out of what you have developed in the inner consciousness. That was why we said that if you felt a reaction against these things, it was a sign of your psychic sensitivity coming into you, into your vital and nervous being. And we meant that it was all for good. But in dealing with others, in withdrawing from these things, you should not allow any sense of superiority to creep up or force on them by your manner or spirit a sense of disapproval or condemnation or pressure on them to change. It is your personal inward need that you draw back from these things. That is all. As for them, what they do in these matters, right or wrong, is their affair, and ours. We deal with them according to what we see as necessary and possible for them at the moment. And for that purpose, we can not only deal quite differently with different people, allowing for one what we forbid for another, but we deal differently with the same person at different times, allowing or encouraging or discouraging what we shall forbid tomorrow. A human soul and nature cannot be dealt with by a set of mental rules applicable to everybody in the same way. If it were so, there would be no need of a guru. Each could set his chart of yogic rules. Each could set his chart of yogic rules before him like the rules of the Sandoz exercise and follow them till he became the perfect Siddha. Whatever is done by the Mother is for the good of the sadhak and the sadhana. One way is to have the entire faith in the Divine Mother. The other is to believe that she is wiser than yourself and must have reasons for everything she does, which are better than your mind's judgment. Not until it is enlightened by the true consciousness and knowledge from above that we can understand the Divine Mother's feelings, says our Lord Sri Aurobindo.